Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summer presentation of the Kiev Major Qualifiers here, Southeast Asia action coming at you as the fourth heat here in day number one of this best of one round robin group stage. Now we've got ourselves a wonderful match, TNC versus Execration, which is already a little bit through the draft here as we jump into it. Myself, Blaze, joined by Luminous. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad that we see TNC picking Long Druid, and they're picking him very early as well. Raven, to me, is the best Long Druid player in C.
Really?
They are very, very strong, particularly because he farms extremely well on the hero. I don't think his bear micro is anything exceptional or anything, but he gets his timing, which is he gets like a Mjolnir, 21 minutes.
Really?
20 minutes, 22, like around that mark. He gets the Force Staff, or sorry, the Dragon Lance, and then they just roll people. And they also got one of their best combination in the form of Slardar plus Darkseer. This is the Tim Sam H combination. So I feel like TNC right from the get-go is already very well in their comfort zone.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Lodra is no longer one of those heroes that is so micro-intensive that you have to be able to manipulate the bear perfectly in order to win out your lanes. He's just innately strong, and the bear micro is kind of a big perk.
Yep.
But here, I mean, they've got a lot of potential with the fact that Lone Druid attacks so far with his extended range through talents and the Dragon Lance and the amp damage, which will keep vision on target. But a lot of physical damage will be mitigated here by the Sven's Warcry. You're not going to be able to just weave people down, and that's where the Mjolnir timing is probably the most important. You need to get all that magic damage out in the fights as well, despite Rubik's Null Field. So I think that in general, TNC are very comfortable, as you said, but Execration have a hell of a lot of wombo combo if they play their cards right.
They do. I'm more so worried about their lanes. I feel like Centaur versus Lone Druid, that's going to be Lone Druid favored. The Sven in particular, to me, is going to have a lot of trouble versus the Darkseer Slaughter combination. I mean, I guess Warlock could help out with the seal once in a while, but for the most part, I feel like they have to be on the aggressive against the Slaughter Darkseer combination. Because if you have let this lane to be static, the Iron Shell is going to just make it a nightmare for you to farm against. I don't think Rubik's going to be able to do too much harass either. So... And then now TNC has the overall last pick in a 1v1 matchup against Queen. I'm sure they can find something that's decent against Queen.
Yeah, TA seems pretty sensible. I mean, you've got negative armor from 2 heroes already, so just putting that right on top of it could be pretty solid. Refraction's a pretty good spell steal from Rubik, but he's also a very low armor hero, so I think that that's a pretty solid matchup, and it's kind of your classic matchup. But
I like OD personally, just so that it's not as good in the lane versus Quap, but then in the mid game you have Astro versus Sven, which is going to make his life, just even tougher. But we'll see what TNC goes for.
Yeah, plenty of options, plenty of time to think about it as well. But yeah, I'm curious how this safe lane is going to manage against the Darkseer Slaughter. With that Iron Shell, you can just kind of get right up in the target's face. And yeah, we saw the slow heal from the Shadow Word do some decent work in terms of sustaining Black in the first game today. But overall, it's still going to be a lot of pressure, and it's going to be hard for the Rubik and Warlock to address it directly. Sven is a hero in general that just got really hurt by 7.0 stacking mechanics, and it just feels like he's always a couple, at least 100 GPM short of his benchmarks from previous patches.
Right. I mean, you could say that the previous stacking was almost an exploit, right? Just the fact that you could just go ham on the Ancients.
To be sure. But all the same, I do feel like the really only thing that's going for him this game is obviously the positive armor for his team, and then the Centaur allowing him to, making it possible to really kite him. The only thing is entangling roots and a little bit of crush action. But
I want to say Execration also picked Sven earlier today, and I think they lost with it.
That would be unfortunate. But the last pick here is actually going to be a Tinker for TNC. So they're going to be able to do a little bit of push and pull action where it's going to be hard to actually break down TNC's towers just because there's going to be march up all the time, and they don't really have great heroes to close in on it. Like Centaur Blink is the best thing, Blink stunning, but there's a lot of times where if the Tinker puts the march down in the right position, you can't even actually get the dagger off on him, and you just have to kind of go for the Stampede play. So in general, this is going to be a lot better Tinker game than we saw up against the Clockwork earlier, and I just feel like in general this is a hero that is lacking counters against it right now.
All right, let me correct myself here. They won their previous game, the Execration. In fact, they had a Rubik, Centaur, Warlock, Sven draft with a Mist Silencer instead of mid Quap. So this is, if I said TNC was within their comfort zone, Execration, Apparently also within their comfort zone, just picking 4 of the 5 same hero as their previous draft, and they were able to beat Team Bazaar or WG Unity.
Well, well, well. It does seem to be statistically accurate then that the Rubik, Warlock, Sven, Centaur drops have a 100% win rate in the Kiev Major SEA qualifier so far. So we'll see if they can keep that streak running. And in the meantime, TNC, what are you looking to get out of the lanes? Obviously, Lone Druid is generally a hero that will try to break down your towers after he gets level 7. But do they really have to win any of these lanes, or is it like I feel like all these
For
matchups are
TNC?
pretty favorable already for TNC?
I don't think they have to win any matchup. I think the goal for TNC right now is to let Cuckoo hit his timing. I refer to his item timing, around 18 to 22 minutes, get his big items. But some of the thing that, one of the other aspect that I think a lot of people don't give enough credit for is your levels, right? Because the fact that Lone Druid is strong is because of his level 10 and 15 talent. So you need level 10 and 15.
For sure.
And a lot of times you see Lone Druid grouping up with a team to push. I think that's perhaps the suboptimal way to play him if he hasn't hit that 15 yet. And I think that's what Raven does very well. He does join fights when he needs to, but most of the time he's just off the map doing his own thing. And I think that's going to be TNC's playstyle. You just kind of play a very slow, passive early game. Just make sure you farm and get your stuff. And then once you get your item and level timing, then you go.
All right, so Tim's smoke is going to be broken immediately here by Gabby. Nice move from him. Means no Observer Sentries coming out in favor of TNC to start things off here. But yeah, it is going to be still like just poking back and forth. The Mango, I guess, wins out in that because this Sven's going to be able to get almost half the damage back just without even eating a Tango. But he'll do it just to top himself off and be sure of things here. It is going to be, as you mentioned, Raven swapping back on a Lone Druid. No Sam Ham going on the off-lane Lone Druid. That's just not sensible at this metagame. But he's going to be going, for the Aquila to start. And Rior's actually kind of making some aggressive moves bottom. I mean, obviously, we expected the Slardar Darkseer to be kind of the aggressors down here, but do you think Rior adds anything to the equation?
30 seconds.
No. In fact, I think by him being here, it's just a detriment, right? Because everyone needs levels. Darkseer needs levels. Rior himself needs a ton of level on the Dazzle, so... He does have a teleport scroll, which
yeah, he can rotate quickly wherever he needs to be. But I feel like if he just goes in, like let's say we get just an Iron Shell or a double Iron Shell play with Tim's right on top of a target, he gets a crush and you get a two-man Shadow Wave.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that could still maybe enable a first blood against, especially a slow hero like Rubik, that you can actually close that distance on. But as I say that, I note that he's already got boots first, so.
Ooh.
They'll check the
Execration
sides.
just running into the trees. They're expecting some sort of play here.
The thing is, Darkseer can't really be up there right now, right? Like, he has to be blocking, grabbing bounty runes, stuff like that. So,
and he needs double Iron Shell, like you said. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a long while before he gets that.
We'll see if the heal from Shadow Word as well as the Tango is going to be enough. It actually does not grab it immediately, but it's fine because is going to be a telekinesis back from Lumix. Tim's still in a very aggressive position, and it's going to be a tri lane, at least for now.
I think they're gonna try to make one go with the Dazzle being here, and then probably just give it up later.
Yeah, that makes sense. In the meantime, that does give a 1v1 matchup here. DJ's Centaur against Raven's Lone Druid. You already mentioned that you think that that's going to be very favorable for the Lone Druid, but I would say it's more so when the Lone Druid hits level 5.
Yep.
And until that point, the Centaur gets to play a little bit more actively.
Yeah, he's right into Raven's face, and ticks return at 1 so that the harass is actually not going to do too much. And,
All right. It's just a Dazzle hanging out, just watching the Darkseer farm some creeps. It's really weird. I mean, obviously, you've got the Magic Stick and Fairy Fire, so they're looking for, like, turnaround potential where you can dive towers, and the enemy thinks you're just slow enough that you won't go for it, and you still do because you've got a Dazzle. You've got all these healing items, but at the end of the day, it's just not worth that because Rio could be pulling. He could be taking advantage of this top lane. So
exactly.
He realizes he's wasting time. He teleports back up top, and it just ends up being some leech experience in the end.
I mean, honestly, he doesn't do much here either, but at the very least, they're not splitting experience bottom, which is kind of the key there. Rior is just... Yeah.
Yeah, I would say both Darkseer and Slaughter getting faster levels is actually going to be very important here. She just runs right on by the Rubik, so looks like he wants to gets an IHL just to grab a bounty rune, and he's just like, oh, that's mine. See you guys later. And it works out perfectly fine. It goes in for a crush again, but Can they really kill him? I mean, he's got sprint, he's got boots, he's fine. It's just a little bit of poke and prod here. Since there's no stout shield, they're doing quite a bit of direct damage to him. But in the end, nobody really that close to a first blood in this scenario.
Rior went for the rune, and now there's a hasted quap coming his way, but there's there's some poison, and Nando actually forced to blink away. DJ's going to come in from the back line, but can't really cut Rior off.
All right, and he'll be right back up to the mid lane. Not too much to worry about in terms of that rotation. So where's the Dazzle fit into this? So the Dazzle's doing relatively nothing in the laning stages. We see Sutter taking a few hits down bottom. Actually, might be a kill this time around. He gets a 3-man crush, so that's actually going to be a lot of damage instead onto the Rubik, who fade bolts the other way. So Lumik, it looks like is going to be dropping, but Tim's just a TP away. Oh! Gets locked down by the Stormhammer, and Rubik will be able to slip his way through. So in the end, first blood spilled on the bottom lane.
Man, that was super unlucky for TNC. Maybe those hits were like, I don't know, max damage hits. If they could have been minimum, he probably survived, or did he get hit by a Stormhammer towards the end? I heard a Stormhammer.
Yeah, that was the last hit.
Okay, so he probably would have died regardless.
Yeah, unless he TP'd just a fraction of a second sooner. But all in all, just a tough lane to be too aggressive in, because you need your levels. You need to focus on getting these level 3 and 5 on the Darkseer, and you're looking for mostly 1-for-1s. Like, you're never expecting to get a clean kill. So it's just about getting enough damage in that you get you offset the Sven and you get a support kill in the exchange.
All right, despite leaving the lane for a while, Quap is able to really keep up with Cuckoo. I mean, I feel like this matchup is not necessarily favored one side or another, but I feel like once you get level 5 Tinker, especially if you're going for this laser rocket build, you should be able to bully the Quap out of the lane.
Yep, and that seems to be what's going to be happening over the next few bits. As actually just nukes him down. I saw it at the bottom of the screen at least, as he hits his spells and Quap is just too low. Learns the hard way that that's a laser rocket build. And we're going to see a crush here against Centaur. DJ's been playing very deep and gets rooted up, gets killed off.
Yeah, I had no idea why those two heroes were there, but I guess okay, Raven's fine with that.
Yeah, so nice little pick up there. Yeah, Centaur was just kind of doing a bit of creep cutting, pulling back the wave way too far down bottom. It's actually going to be Sam H that gets stunned up Stormhammer-wise, and that's going to be the death of him. Fairy Fire and Magic Stick, again, great healing tools, but they've got the Fatal Bonds on the creep wave.
Yep.
So, 2-2 as far as your kill score. Bottom lane not going so well, but mid and top pretty solid overall. And DJ just realizes he has to go into the jungle and start farming that way. When they push out the wave to the tower, he'll of course peel it back, but even then that comes with some risk.
They're making a chase about DJ, but he's going to be okay. Second point to return.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it's like, does it actually scale that well? Like 16 damage to 18.
It does not scale at all.
I would almost call that a misclick. It scales so horribly.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that so useless? Okay, as we see, Queen of Pain, sorry about that, does get picked off that second time around. We don't see her health bar dropping, but really just comes down to, right now, Execration, Maness, underestimating the damage output coming in from TNC.
The other portion of this returning, the scale of the return, is that you get, what, 15% more strength into damage?
Yeah, but he's got 35 strength
exactly,
right now.
So you're level 6.
So that's 5 more damage.
Yeah, whatever. All right, meanwhile, the Rubik ports in just straight up feeds.
This is really awkward, honestly. This top lane is turning into just a bit of a mess, and they're going to, of course, take the tower, no problem at all. It just feels like, right now, Execration, they want to be able to contest things. They want to be able to fight the mid lane as low HP Quap. They want to be able to defend their towers, but you know, it just seems like it's wishful thinking. They're not actually able to contest these situations, and they're putting themselves in worse and worse positions every moment, as we see that dive up top.
Yeah, they kind of just ran at him with sprint turn on. No,
I mean,
no roots or anything.
There's no finesse to this game. Like it's just brute force. It's ugly. It's gruesome, and it just doesn't seem very refined, especially from Execration's standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, I think TNC is playing well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're just doing. It's very straightforward. They're doing what they're meant to do. They're taking advantage of their heroes' abilities, and there's really not much more to say about it.
So we don't generally see this build a lot for the laser tinker build in the mid lane. Sorry, the laser rocket build. And the reason being is that if you don't get those kills, your mid game farm actually slows down a lot because you want the max march once you have the BOT. But because he's actually getting the kill, I think this build is perhaps even better. Like just putting pressure, getting things done.
Yeah, I mean, it works out. Like we were talking about TA, it's probably being a good matchup. But I mean, if you can just get these pickoffs, if either let's say that
Stormhammer?
Yep, going in down bottom. They do have the Sonic Wave Burst as well. It looks like they won't need it as the God Strength comes through.
Wait.
Now they will, as the Grave is not there in time. Just short on the range mid-cast animation. But, yeah, Fatal Bonds actually making it so that they drop very low to all that AoE damage. And one more hit. No deny. He gets the deny from the Bear. Raven steals his teammate's fate and takes that gold off the table. Now Nando, a little bit out of position, is able to blink away and go about his business. So the researchers at Execration have desperately needed at this point in the game. Fatal Bonds, Sonic Wave, all this AoE damage. This is what the draft is meant to do, right? Like you combo up like all the damage from Queen of Pain's spells, all the damage from Sven's right clicks, and the Warlock can make it just hurt. But at the same time, how many situations do you think they're going to be in where that's actually reliable damage?
I mean, I think more than you think because they have so much setup, right? You got the Blink Stormhammer in the late game, you got the Blink Hoof Stomp, you got the Rock, so it's not infeasible to see that kind of wombo combo play.
Yeah, but if you get enough in Grave early on for the Dazzle, then you should just be able to let one of your heroes play forward, and then they have to commit some of those spells onto him.
I mean, it's a similar situation to the Weaver last game, right?
Yeah.
If the enemy team wants to find you, if you don't like hide in the trees or whatever, they will find you, and they will find you. So, I think it's more of like, okay, your teammate's probably gonna die or you're gonna die. It's just how much they have to commit. And how much, can your team do while they're committing for your teammates?
Yeah, so Warlock doing very poorly here, just not even level 5, and he wants to rush a Midas, but all he's got is 180 gold in pocket and some boots. I mean, I guess you can call the Views Raindrops some decent value, but like...
Is this really the Midas rush? I don't know.
It just feels awkward. It feels like you're just going to get run down.
The game's going to die.
Yeah, you're buying an item that stalls out a game that's only getting worse as time goes on. It's painful.
All right.
You really need something that will just keep you alive and keep you mobile. Like, even if it's just like Windlace Tranquils, at least you won't get caught out as much.
Well, I mean, the Raindrops was supposed to keep him alive, but then, Tinker doesn't care. Just fires off back-to-back rockets.
So what's the game plan getting back into this one? Execration, they need their Spell Steal and their Chaotic Offering, obviously, but beyond that, what can they really do but let their outer towers drop? Nando still aggressive here. Haste Rune feels confident with it, but then Cuckoo just keeps on throwing stuff at him and forces out an early blink. So that's definitely going to be the Tier 1 tower absolutely gone. And without ultimates, like, why are they even here? It seems like they could just be pushing out the side lanes.
Yeah, I'm not actually too sure. They're looking at the latest push, perhaps. In fact, they were trying to wrap around DJ. Does not have Blink just yet. So I feel like this fight's going to be very difficult.
And this is what the Tinker build is designed to be able to fight.
Right.
These conditions are perfect for it, where you're doing your maximum amount of damage. You maybe want your Soul Ring by now, but otherwise you're putting out repeat sets of lasers and missiles. And
well, they held the tower, so I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't committed to in full and the Bear only has so much HP to work with, I think that what you're talking about before, Raven's just happy to hit his timing, and you don't have to force a risky fight if you can just keep on farming your items faster.
And he goes straight back to farming. I think perhaps even spend a little bit too much time just...
Nope.
Oh, they just double smoked.
It's all right. One less smoke on the table. Just it's like a failed smoke, but you didn't waste the time, right? So let's just hope this one is successful and they don't have two failed smokes. It's going to be 5593D warding. They don't have a blink dagger, so it's going to be hard to get the crush to start this off.
They're going to get Gabby right on the back line here. Gabby's going to drop off a stun. Any other way to slow him down or stun him? No, Slaughter was the only stun, and he got Stormhammered.
Yeah, and without the crush, he can just Tranquil Sprint in. And I've actually seen a few of the Chinese teams actually maxing Sprint over Crush in these situations where you know you're not getting a blink anytime soon, and you just can't close the distance. Maybe you can argue that Surge should have been there on the Slaughter, so that could have been an easier Crush, but in the end, good response from the Sven, stuns who he needs to and gets out. But that standoff that we were talking about in mid, it's just delays the inevitable. The tier 1 still falls. And Lone Druid still probably, yeah, he's easily top GPM as he rapidly approaches his Maelstrom. And if they don't do something quick, this bottom tier 2 is going to fall as well. Like, usually it's not in danger so early on, but a double damage rune comes out, and obviously TNC are all ready to go.
I just think that they're making it so easy for Tims to find a Blink Dagger as a support, right? Like, this shouldn't happen. I think he's going to find it the same time that DJ does with his Blink. No, DJ already has his Blink. But regardless, this is a very fast timing for the Slaughter to get his Blink. We're only 13 minutes in, and he's, what, more than halfway there?
Yeah, I mean, already a significant net worth advantage for TNC, about 4K, and that adds up very quickly as Tims is going to get that tool for initiation. Beyond that, Nando is actually going to be looking for an Orchid, and probably just trying to jump onto the Dazzle and the Tinker and just try to get quick picks that way. Beyond that, he's going to be mostly looking for his teammates to provide the backup. Oh, Iron Shell and DJ as he blinks in here. Big nuke damage, and just for good measure, they pop the overkill Sonic Wave, and they get themselves out of there.
Gotta kill him fast, man. What if he has mech finish? He doesn't, but...
Oh, nice blink out there from the Centaur Warrior. Still a lot of damage coming in. He's still going to kill him off. Oh, Raven. We're looking really strong with that Rabid, with that level 10 talent of 175 attack range, and the phase boots movement speed just clears him out.
Yeah, showing off some really good sniper gameplay there. And now they could transition to Roche.
Ho ho, haha. So we got the amp damage here on Roshan, cleaning this up really quickly. They've taken a free tier 2 bottom. They're about to take a free Roshan. Warlock finally has his ultimate available, 14 minutes in. And they're looking to make moves, but it just seems moves too late. Tim scouting it out, making sure that they can't get to the high ground except through him, playing the real Guardian Slytherin. And we will see them getting the Roshan, no problem at all. Aegis on Raven.
Yep. I don't think they're really in a hurry to like push or anything.
Yeah, I think they smoked because they knew that they were freaking out as soon as Tims was anywhere nearby. So I think they smoked, they sentry, didn't get anything out of it, and Raven continues to be the real threat. And even getting this Alpha Wolf, it looks like no. It's high value. This thing gives so much gold now, but that's okay.
I still think that HOD needs another nerf.
Oh,
like a movement speed nerf.
You and pretty much anybody else that plays Dota 2. Like that is such an insane item.
I mean, you can make a case to say that like it's bearable in terms of like.
Yeah, no, it's not like it's like the most broken thing that's ever hit the game, but it's just a little too strong. Anybody can build it and be okay, justified in it to an extent. And there are some heroes it's just way too good on. But for right now, we're seeing Raven play some way too good Lone Druid. 8,200 net worth. This Fen trailing behind and not much in terms of stacks to fall back on. In fact, I mean, Lone Druid was farming his Ancients. So really, where is his gold coming from? Like, he's got Dominator, Echo Saber. Fine if they're initiated upon, but he wants to be the one to start fights with DJ. So he needs the Blink, he needs the BKB, and at that point, TNC are just going to be so big, and they're going to have the entire map to work with.
I mean, what do you think that Execration could get to kind of turn things around? Are we waiting for a magical Blink Dagger, Gabby like?
Yeah, I think it would certainly help.
2-hit, I kill you.
No. We're waiting on Warlock's Midas. When 5593 gets the hand of Midas, he's going to be in business.
Yeah, man, he needs to max that Fatal Bond, dude. So far away.
Did he get any good talents? He gets 20% experience gain. That's a 20% more valuable Midas.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be a rough life for this Warlock for a while. I'm not sure. But right now, they might be able to jump a Cuckoo. In fact, Cuckoo jumps onto DJ, wrong part of the railroad tracks, and just gets a right-click down after the scream. So that's going to be a lot of heroes that they know about on top lane, but all of them have TP scrolls, and there's no way they actually push this, is there? I mean, the Tinker will be here in 30 seconds, but they really can't actually fully commit. They're just poking. They're just getting the damage in while they can. And there's Mjolnir. 17 minutes.
Yep.
You're saying 22, and I was like, that seems pretty fast. No, this is just ridiculous.
No, he skipped the Dragonlance this game.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Normally he goes Dragonlance and then, yeah. Sometimes, depending on the game, he finishes a Hurricane Pike as well. But, you know, he's going to go back for it. No doubt, especially against this Sven.
All right, Aegis has 2 minutes left on it. Everybody in Execration has to be very cautious about how they move on the map right now. Not much control across the board, but Sven is farming all right. I mean, maybe not the farming powerhouse that he used to be, but that doesn't mean that he can't get some sick item pickups. And the Blink Dagger, I think, is pretty critical among them. So with the God Strength available, that's going to be important. And he's going to go for 8 in all stats for his level 15. Right back down bottom, though, TNC. They've already gotten some chip damage on the tier 3, and they want to cement that a little further. In the meantime, no upheaval. So you can't even really punish this this poke and prod strategy, because they're not going to be, like, trapped. There's no way to control it without the Centaur and Sven there. And they're looking for a pickoff up top. Tinker going to be blinking in most likely to the same area, and they want to take advantage of that. But the dagger is now on cooldown, and that's one of the problems with, like, these kind of blink initiations. You just... If you don't see him before the march ticks on you, then it's just useless. So, strong Tinker pick coming out from TNC.
Yeah, and we're not even seeing the full power yet. Like, in the late game, if we even get there, that Sven is just going to be, like, neutered. But it looks like we might even get there, because Raven with the double damage. I say wait for 15, but I guess it doesn't. You don't need 15.
And they get the glyph too.
Jeez. Yeah, when you have a double damage.
Yeah, they'll just pop the battle cry and be like, okay, well, we can sacrifice the bear for a tree tier 3. There's going to be a stun coming in. We'll see the counter play, but Lone Druid has that Aegis. He's going to be coming back up in just a moment here. So the Reign of Chaos has come out. That Golem is going to try to do what damage it can, but where is the follow-up? Seems like non-existent. In fact, Tinker's coming in. He's going to have a lot of damage to bring to bear. Can he get the blind on Gabby? Not going to be coming out in time. In fact, it's just the Slaughter going down, and now the Lone Druid caught out. Big Sonic Wave, Fatal Bond, dropping down. Reorg gets silenced and killed off as well. Critical kills coming in for Execration as they make it a 4-for-0.
Okay. Well, we were thinking that they could just push the tier 3 and perhaps even begin to end, but apparently not, right? Where's the follow-up? There was the follow-up. Where was Nando though previously? Because if he like dropped the Sonic Wave on top of the first hoof stomp.
Yeah, I mean it could have definitely been something. I mean they had the chaotic offering out and everything, but he held it. He was a little patient. Maybe worried about the dazzle getting out of grave on whoever he is trying to bring down. He wanted to make sure that he got the most value out of his spells, and I do think he did. So it's just this is what the lineup is meant to do. Execration is really strong at fighting close quarters opponents that are pushed up a little bit too far. So TNC kind of play into their hand a little bit. But in the end, I mean, this is not resetting the goal graph. We still have a significant advantage for TNC, not just in terms of resources, but in terms of map control.
I wonder if TNC is going to make another Gambit, like what they just did, or they're probably going to just hang tight and just wait for the longer game. There's no really big rush for TNC. They are so favored, in my opinion.
And we're going to be seeing that Aghanim Scepter come up pretty soon. In fact, I swear I saw him had it kind of quick by, but it looks like he went for the Ether Lens instead. So still going to have a little bit of time on that blind effect, or the AoE blind factor at least, and that means Gabby has time to finish off that BKB. So, I mean, BKB Sven is extremely scary, and wow, he's so damn close to this Tinker, he can feel it, but he's feeling the pain, and he's going to back himself out of there.
I'm just watching this top. Yeah, Hero's just hiding in the trees.
There's been a lot of that, and not a single ward up here. Like, no anti-Tinker wards, no pro-Tinker wards, just a lot of tree play. Execration. Probably do this a lot in pubs, you imagine? Like, they ever play up against a Tinker? That's one of the more common heroes I've heard in SCA pubs, and I imagine them just, like, stalking 2 or 3 heroes up here, like, every game.
Oh, I guess, we're just chilling, man.
I mean, that's the game. That's what... And so the push and pull strat from Lone Druid and Tinker, it's just they keep the waves pushed out, they farm up, they get their items, and when they get an opportunity, they just grab an objective like the tier 3 or Roshan. Even knowing this game is going to drag out, it's going to be Tim's picking up the hand of Midas and Warlock almost there. If this game does drag out in this kind of neutral state continuously, then the Midas is definitely the right pick. It's just it's been a long time coming.
55's got that foresight, man. He saw it like 10 minutes ago. It's like this one's gonna go long.
Yeah, I mean, the situation is if you get a really good timing of Pipe of Insight on a Centaur, this draft can, for Execration, the draft can break high ground within like 25 minutes. But you know that Lone Druid is going to have a lot of momentum. You know that the Tinker is going to make your life a living hell in terms of pushing. So, yeah, just don't even force the issue. Just play the long con, and I think it's going to work out to an extent.
Gonna check if any other key items are coming along the way. Gabby's PPB is finished, so if they want to make a smoke play, they probably can.
I'd say, other than the Aghanim Scepter on the Centaur War Runner, that the status quo has pretty much been met.
Yeah.
We're not going to expect too many big changes in the next little bit, so they're not going to rest on their laurels. They're going to go in for the smoke play. They're going to run right down the mid lane, hoping that they can find somebody in the dire jungle. Oh, it's actually going to be right next to the tower that the Mjolnir Bear is hanging out. I guess you could check the buff on the Mjolnir, know that it was fresh. Keep tracking.
Radiant's top tower is under
But
attack.
it's not going to work out here. Very cautious play from Raven. I mean, you got to look at this guy as not only an experienced farmer and carry player, but a guy who knows when it's safe and when it's not safe to go out in the open. This guy just plays it very, very passively, and I mean that's why he's been able to play at a TI level for a long time.
I mean, it also helps in this particular scenario where he could put the lightning shield onto his bear and just run it out to farm. So he's not really sacrificing too much.
Also,
Not bringing his hero to farm.
Also some great ward play. Smith's coming in from TNC, so they've got like 3 good dire observers knowing the enemy's not there and just raising some question marks as far as where they might be. Warlock Midas, almost there. There it is. Finally coming out. 5-5. 9-3. Going to be able to pick that up, and we'll just hope he gets out into the jungle enough to really take advantage of it.
You know, for all the praises we've been seeing for the bear, you know, Sven's keeping up.
Radiant's top tower
Yeah, for
is
sure.
under
No,
attack.
he's absolutely been farming away and has all the key items. Like, AC is kind of like icing on the cake. Then you go for maybe crit or something. But, like, right now, I think he's actually pretty comfortable. Even with this, like, ice armor. You had Warcry and ice armor together, and it's actually going to be almost impossible to man fight. Smoke play coming out from TNC, looking for another opportunity. Remember, they are down 1 smoke, so they need this one to succeed, and it's going to be a blink. Hopefully a TP away. Just him see it. He breaks the smoke. He jumps on top, and the Queen of Pain goes down.
Jeez, that was so fast. Okay, I guess now you push, right?
Pretty much. No
Force that
questions asked.
buyback.
Force the buyback and run like hell, because they will be able to punish if you stay too far. They've got the Golem. They've got the Stampede. If that buyback comes out, you have to be... You might as well already be leaving the base, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of punish and chase potential. But Roshan's the easy move, and I think it's probably the smarter one, given the context. The Queen of Pain's not going to buy back and try to jump to their shrine and try to fight in Rosh Pit. So it's just going to enable you to leverage that 5 versus 4 and take a free Rosh.
Radiant's top tower is
Really
under attack.
passive. They're really worried about this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a single 2-man stun could actually just end the fight for them. So I wouldn't underestimate what Execration could do at this point.
Yeah. Works out, though. Raven is going to be able to pick up this Aegis once again. Luckily working for a BKB himself. Do you think he's already got enough damage that he can just kind of build an item that lets him stay in the fight? Trying to think of what alternatives there might be. Like Scotty I've seen a few times where it's a nice mix of durability and damage output. Allows you to stay on your target, but
Yeah, I'm trying to think, but there's just really nothing that jumps out being like a clear choice.
yeah, he wants the BKB, and I guess that'll suit him. But I actually thought that maybe Scotty or something like that would be a little more effective in the long run.
Maybe the Mjolnir is okay. Put it on the guy, you know, there's Martian Machine all the time. It's gonna proc a couple of times.
So beyond that, we have just right now the Rubik does have his dagger that puts 3 versus 3 in terms of daggers for both sides. And I think that there are some decent spells to steal, but it's probably not what you wanted when they picked up the Rubik early in the draft.
Well, 27 minutes in, we still got 9 to 8. Oh,
Dude,
man.
this is going to be a long hub if we're bringing this much energy, man. Let's hype it up.
I mean, this is actually a very hype match.
It is. I mean, either one of these could be very likely to go through to playoffs, and matchups like this could, in hindsight, determine that.
Yeah, Sway, you know. Is there any advantage for seeding?
I mean, I'm not sure if like first gets to select between second, third, fourth. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or...
I think so, but I mean, it could be a 1-4, 2-3 type situation. I'm not too sure.
Sure.
But these guys, with only 4 teams to get out of the 10, and actually that Observer Ward on the high ground giving him the free pickoff here. Rior too slow on the shallow grave, and now not able to get away. Glimmer, TP, and double stunned. So, with that in mind, it's going to be a nice pickoff that really halts the momentum of TNC, but a relatively quick respawn for Tinker, all things considered. I don't really think at this, this is so early in the group stage, and we've got 2 full days ahead of us. I don't think at this point in time your team is really worried too much about seeding and much more worried about staying alive. Like, it's very possible that either one of these can be knocked out. As much as I say that it's very possible that either one can make the playoffs, there's 2 sides to that same coin, and elimination, you don't want to be eliminated in the group stage. It just really hurts your, it obviously kills your chance at Kiev, but we're going to see a big combo counteracted by DJ as he pushes forward, and they kill off the Slaughter immediately. 2-man chaotic offering coming out, but Raven just pops the BKB and goes in hard. It's just enough damage to bring down 5593, but they'll deny the tier 1 tower and call it a day. It's actually, for all the hubbub, it's actually a 1-for-1.
Yeah. Raven's still holding to that Aegis. And I wonder what he's going towards next.
But I mean, Scotty Butterfly.
Yeah, that's standard fare.
Pretty simple. I think Scotty's really good against the Sven here. Even though Stampede can be very problematic, you're unlikely to be up against a Ice refresher Stampede. So I think that you should be able to, at some point in the fight, start kiting. And at that point, just Scotty creates so much value.
I think you were mentioning Scotty earlier, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I thought
instead of the BKB, I think it makes more sense.
Yeah, I thought you were referring to Queen of Pain, because when I looked at her inventory, she also had a BKB, so I got confused there and suggested Mjolnir as physical damage.
Yeah.
But obviously, Raven already has a Mjolnir. I was like,
oh. Well, a nice little crush play. They need this bear down quickly, but they're also taking some damage in return. Every second, they're getting a lightning against them. And they're trying to jump onto Raven, take him down to half HP, but he still has the Aegis and might get a root. Oh, big root, as well as a vacuum onto 3. Logre into high. They're putting a lot of damage in. Is it enough? No, the Shrine! The Shrine barely keeps him up. It's going to be the Sonic Wave coming out. Centaur Warrunner on top of the Darkseer, but just a little too tanky. Raven running back in. No, gets blink crushed by the Rubik! And is able to steal up a laser as well. That's not going to get him out of here, though.
Yeah, he's just dead. He got a double kill, though.
You don't laser the guy that doesn't auto-attack. You laser the friggin' druid. But
I mean, he just want to cast spells.
Yeah, it's what Rubik does.
I mean, yeah, that's not the worst hold if you ask me. Like,
some really good kills.
Yeah.
The problem is, this is still, with the Aegis, still a full HP lone druid ready to fight, but they're going to get a great combo on him with the silence and the stun. The problem is that laser goes across, and they're just going to be able to put too much damage the other way. That's the bottom lane, and they're going to put a lot of good damage on mid as well.
Wait, how did they kill the queen? Just a rocket, I guess?
That was going to be, I guess the long range finish off there with a little bit more damage from the Tinker. And Raven just clears out this tier 3 in mid, no problem at all.
Yep.
The battle medic, Cuckoo, he goes back to base, brings the bottle with him, and is just like, here, sip my drink.
I mean, that bottle is not healing for anything, and now the real medic, Tim, shows up with the salve.
There you go. It's like a classic RPG. You just chug elixirs, you're fine.
Okay. Oh, bear goes down. Does he have another one? 30 seconds.
Does he need another one? I think they're in a decent position. Just keep poking, but they're worried about the Centaur respawn and the Sven trying to set up for that. So they'll keep their distance, keep that amazing attack range outside the base, and still chip down this melee Rax. Have to commit now before the Rax falls. Raven Pasta BKB does not finish the barracks, but the siege creep is still in play. They're going to try to chase down on Dazzle, finish him off without a grave, and now it's going to be Darkseer that's in some trouble. Gets lifted up, gets the surge away. Will it be enough? As we see, just pursuit from Gabby. The Queen of Pain goes down in the process.
Oh, these rockets are doing so much work. Cuckoo's on the chase right now. His blink dagger's being cancelled. Gabby.
Oh!
Oh my god, he targeted the illusion, I believe? And then
Yeah.
he wanted the AoE stun, but then Tim's just blinked it.
Brutal.
Alright.
Absolutely brutal. They do still keep their melee Rax, at least for the moment. We'll see if the Lone Druid gets a little bit antsy here. Raven, very quick movement speed. He shrined up, put all his items in his backpack, and just flew right back out to the front line, or they want to finish this mid lane for good.
Barracks are under attack.
Yeah, they might get another.
Yeah, they got
can't,
two,
They
for
can't.
sure.
They can't get top.
No.
T2 still up.
Yeah, they have 2 lanes for sure, but they'll just hang out, farm some Moonwells. They're fine.
Okay, and a rotate up top.
And cleared out. They're very, very close to Mega Creeps at this point in time. And they know that the Stampede is just now cooling down. At least they should have a good idea that should be on the horizon. But Tier 2 down. Trying to finish off the Tier 3. As long as there's no Sven, there's no worries. And yeah, they'll just go right up front. There is a decent Searing Chains on the creep wave on the Bear. But they're keeping Raven pretty healthy right now. And they go in hard. Oh, on the Warlock! Nothing from him. Stun will come out on the Tinker, but he's got the Blood Stun and will be right back up. Doesn't even go down, as now Nando has to pop his BKB and try for the fight. Gabby's in, going on the Darkseer, who's not the target they need. It's going to be Raven that they put some deeps into, but he is going to be graved and fall back to the low ground. You just don't chase this sniper of a Lone Druid outside the base, as now you just get melted by the rest of TNC, and
GG.
that's going to be a big win for TNC here, 34 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and this is why you banned the Sam H Darkseer. I mean, we've been saying Raven, we've been saying Tinker, but we had so many combos. Sam H, Darkseer, Tim's, Slaughter. I think they hit every single combo.
Yeah, they pretty much. I mean, it's not the hardest combo to land as long as you have your blink and the range, but it's still like it's so essential for you to set up damage on your Lone Druid that way. Like,
And it just looks so good.
it does. It looks beautiful. It does. It gets the blood pumping, but all the same, like Lone Druid, we talk about him a lot, but no matter how many good offensive items you have like Mjolnir, and no matter how fast you get them, unless you have the disable to set it up, like you're not able to do too much.
Yeah.
So it was just really good space creation from TNC. They had this buffer in front of the Lone Druid, allowed him to snipe away, and it was a really successful endeavor from them to take the game here so quickly. It's actually, I think, the fastest game that I've cast today.
I think the big problem was the fact that Sven was able to keep up in farm, but I think to pressure a Raven Lone Druid, you need to go under him. I don't think you beat him when you're in the same level of farm. I think you have to just play a very aggressive game, kill him a couple of times before he get the farm to have a better chance. Because as we saw, the same farm on Lone Druid is going to be the same farm on Sven every single time, unless you get that godly 4-man stun on Sven, which Gabby unfortunately was never able to.
So with that in mind, it is going to be TNC taking the win here, and that is going to be helping them out a lot in terms of their progression here in the group stage. We're going to have a few minutes break, and then we're going to be bringing some more SEA qualifiers here for the Kiev Major in just a few minutes. Thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze at Blaze Casting alongside Lumi at Luminous Inverse, and we will see you guys next time.